Hello,
Hello.
it is Kelly.
And Brittany, your favorites from
Smut Swap Live.
Swap Live. Welcome, live and in studio. The dynamic duo of dumbasses.
That's us.
That's me and her. Okay.
And you, maybe.
And you, if you're listening, if you're a loyal listener, there, I think, is one of you now.
Yay.
It might be one of us.
Thanks.
Oh, no one loves us.
It's
quite
fine.
like us. I want you to tell our audience what just happened upstairs with your daughter. Because it's really funny.
Okay, so my daughter is dating my stepson's best friend. And, you know, they are 14 and 15. So as far as relationships go, they are very new to this.
Right. Like she told me that she's his first girlfriend. So
Yeah.
what's happening is tracking for.
And Claire hasn't had any significant boyfriends either, so it's pretty new for her.
Mm-hmm.
There goes my
Down
phone.
she goes.
So Claire isn't quite sure if she should stay with him or break up. There is a little bit of more drama involved because my stepson is dating Claire's best friend, so it's like this fun little foursome
of dating teenagers.
Yes, dating teenagers. I don't know, it's just odd, but Claire doesn't really get to see the other guy very often, so we went apple picking last weekend, and I had to go do some softball stuff with my other daughter. So Brittany and our friend Sheree took Claire out to lunch.
We sure did.
And Claire is a yapper.
Same.
Much like Brittany here. They just love to yap.
This lunch was so fun because we just yapped.
Love it. I love it. I love her yapping to me. It's really fun.
It is really fun.
But Claire told them the entire story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We got the whole sordid affair.
Yeah. So they gave her advice as, your tribe does.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I've also given her advice.
It doesn't count when your mom does.
I feel like I've tried to, to support her in her decisions, but also make some rash points like, this is both of your first relationship.
Right.
Like, have patience. It's not going to be crazy serious.
You don't have to marry him.
He's a 14-year-old boy.
Literally.
He doesn't know how to talk to girls yet. Like, this is a learning experience for the both of you. Either way, Claire told me upstairs that...
So funny. I'm sorry.
Brittany and Sheree gave her the best advice of her life.
She said, it was the best girl talk of my life. And Kelly was like, wow.
I hate that for me.
It was so friggin' funny. I could not stop laughing. I could not stop laughing. That shit was so funny. I don't have daughters, so the opportunity to have girl talk with your daughters is everything to me. That was so funny. I loved it.
No, but honestly, I am happy. Maybe a little jealous that I couldn't partake in the girl talk, but also so happy for Claire that she has you.
Yeah.
And Sheree,
yeah,
who we said is literally the best person we know.
Sheree, I know that you're listening to this. You are an angel on this earth, and I am so grateful every day that you are a part of my village of people.
Yes, same.
And before I cry, we're gonna move on.
I know.
Oh my god, I just love Sheree so much.
I love her. I want to protect her at all costs.
Me too. So,
get yourself a Sheree.
Everybody deserves a Sheree in their life, 100%.
Yes. Brittany and a Kelly, to even things out.
But you all have a Brittany and a Kelly. If you're listening to this, you have us.
Yes.
And today I'm bringing the chaos. And I'm going to tell Kelly about Butcher and Blackbird.
Yes, I'm very excited. I
want to Weaver.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go.
No, I've been wanting to read this book, but I will gladly take this over adding another book to my TBR because I'm in this
That's how I feel about
of my life right now where I want to add all the things.
No, this is literally how I feel about this. Us talking about these books. I'm like, well, that's one book that I don't have to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly's reading Phantasma right now. I just want you all to know.
Yeah, maybe we can do an episode where we both talk about it.
Like a book club, almost.
We can add that to our Smut Swap.
Everybody. Okay, Phantasma is going to be the book club book pick for November for Fable. So go in the description wherever you were listening or watching to this, whatever I just said, you're going to find a link for the book club for Smut Swap on Fable. Go join us. Please.
Do it now.
Do it
'Cause
right
it's
now.
Spicy, right?
Yeah.
I read that in the description that it's a little spicy.
It's a little spicy. I think I would say maybe 3 out of 5.
Yeah?
Maybe.
I'll take it.
Yeah. They do more than kiss. So
It is.
there's that.
It is PG-13 or
It's-
R?
R.
Ooh,
Bestie.
maybe
Please.
C-17.
It's for mature audiences.
Just like our book club on Fable. Like I had to make it private because it has to be PG-13 to be public.
So you're going to have to request and Kelly has to approve you. Is there a way to make me a moderator on there too? Or...
Already done.
Yeah, dog. Okay, so first describe the cover. If you're watching, the cover is right here. Kelly's going to do her best not to hide behind the cover this time. So she
Okay.
has her own laptop to look at.
Yes. All right. So we are talking about Butcher and Blackbird, not Phantasma. Don't get excited. So there's a lot of, it's just pink and black. It's
Let me not hide
very,
behind it. I'm sorry. I could look.
am I?
Continue. No, I was hiding behind it.
Oh, okay. There are people kissing. There's a chainsaw. There's an axe. A couple axes. There's a what are those knives called?
It's like a meat cleaver.
Oh yeah, meat cleaver. Some skeletons, some birds, some blackbirds, I assume. Yeah. What's at the very bottom here?
That looks like doors, like
It does look like doors. I think Macy's home. I can hear her.
potentially refrigerator doors.
Ew. I just think of body parts in there
Well, maybe.
because of the butcher.
Well, maybe. Time will tell.
So obviously, I assume that there's some violence.
Mhm.
Some animals or people are being chopped into pieces.
Maybe.
I don't know about the blackbird, but
I promise you, you will find out.
Okay.
Okay. This is the first book in a trilogy called the Ruinous Love Trilogy. And also, like, bottom line up front, some of the characters are Irish, and I did not listen to the audiobook, so for our Irish listeners, we know you're there. I'm sorry in advance for the way that I will pronounce one of the characters' names.
Okay, I thought you were gonna talk in an accent.
Absolutely
with
not.
an accent.
It will not be happening.
Well, I wouldn't judge
mm.
much.
It wouldn't come out.
Put that picture of Toby right here.
Right here.
Judging.
Picture of Toby judging. Toby judges hard.
He really does.
Read the synopsis for us too, please.
All right. So every serial killer needs a friend. Every game must have a winner. When a chance encounter sparks an unlikely bond between rival murderers, Sloane and Rowan, interesting, the two find something elusive, the friendship of a like-minded, pitch-black soul. From small-town West Virginia to upscale California, from downtown Boston to rural Texas, these two hunters collide in an annual game of blood and suffering, one that pits them against the most dangerous monsters in the country. But as their friendship develops into something more, the restless ghosts left in their wake are only a few steps behind, ready to claim more than just their newfound love. Can Rowan and Sloane dig themselves out of a game of graves? Or have they finally met their match?
And are their matches each other? I'm just kidding. I'm
Ooh.
just kidding. Okay, so is there more?
It does say Butcher and Blackbird is the first book in the Ruinous,
Yeah.
Love Dark Romance trilogy of interconnected standalone dark romantic comedies.
Okay, but
Oh.
I am going to read the next one, which is called Leather and Lark. And personal opinion, you do have to read them in order. Like, they're interconnected, but like, you're going to want to, if you are planning on reading this book series, you do need to start with Butcher and Blackbird because of the way that Butcher and Blackbird ends. You can tell that it's clearly setting up for Leather and Lark. Okay. So we open with Sloane, who is a serial unaliver who unalives other serial unalivers.
How does she do it?
How does she do it?
Us women, we can find out anything.
Sloane is a good one. She's been trapped in a cage with one such victim for the last 3 days. And as you can imagine, things are happening to this man's body as a result.
Wait, she's trapped with a dead body?
A dead body for
Oh.
3 days.
Ew.
Like this vomit emoji. The deceased is Albert Briscoe, a.k.a. the Beast of the Bayou, as we find out from one Irish stranger. And, of course, he is stunningly gorgeous. Would you like to hear what this Irish man looks like? Yes. Pretend like I didn't say his name. Short brown hair, artfully disheveled, strong features, but not severe. A sly smile with perfect teeth and a straight scar that cuts through his top lip. Lips that are far too inviting given my current state of captivity. The bottom one a little fuller than the top. I shouldn't be thinking about how I would like to bite it. Not at all.
Not at all.
But I am.
Of course.
Of course she is, because nothing makes a bitch thirstier than being next to a 3-day-old dead body.
Of course.
His name is Rowan, and immediately that makes me want to DNF the book. Why? That's my nephew's name, and he's 4.
Okay, I was like, I feel like I should know this answer, but I don't.
Rowan is the Boston Butcher, a.k.a. the Massacre of Mass, a.k.a. the Ghost of the East Coast, and apparently he is also a hunter that, quote, favors the worst that society can dredge up from the pits of hell. Also, for note, Sloane is only 23 years old.
Checks out.
And her street name is the Orb Weaver.
Ooh. Spooky.
Rowan is a huge fangirl for Sloane. Huge fangirl.
He's scared of her.
I do have another quote. Oh my God, I knew it. This is Rowan talking. I fucking knew they had it wrong. It had to be a woman. The Orb Weaver. Such a cool name. The intricate fishing line. The fucking eyeballs. Amazing. I am such a huge fan. Because she strings up their eyeballs on fishing line after she gouges them out of their heads once they're dead.
Oh, that's so fancy. Arts and crafty. Where does Shay leave these strung up eyeballs?
So there's a specific point where we come across this. Basically, the intricate lines that she weaves with the fishing line are actually maps that show the locations of the bodies for the serial killers that she's taken out, where they've left their trail of bodies. Because she's just so clever.
Oh.
I especially hated that in this first chapter, the maggots that are enveloping this dead man's body, they're referenced as tiny orzo pastas 4 times.
Really?
4 different times.
I don't like that.
Me either.
I have a weird memory of a situation like that. I remember getting Chinese food and having rice on my plate, and for some reason, I'm like high school age, and I'm looking at the rice and thinking of maggots for some reason, and my mom even looked at me and was like, it's rice. Like, she knew I was thinking maggots, and I'm like,
and how do you do it?
No, like, it was such a weird event that it stuck with me, like, all right, cool.
Just a hard no for me. Chapter 1 ends with Rowan asking Sloane for lunch, indicating that he wants barbecue, and thank fucking God he didn't say, you know what sounds great? Orzo.
I want some orzo. I want some sun-dried tomatoes. Wait. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So she's in the cage with the dead body. Rowan has killed this man.
Incorrect.
Okay. Well, how did Rowan find her? Did I miss?
I think that they were both hunting the same man. I don't know if I missed this.
Okay.
Because it's like she's trapped in this cage and then he just suddenly appears one day.
He just waltzes in.
Right. So I am, knowing what I know about this book, under the impression that they both were hunting the same serial killer.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. For chapter 2, we are now in Rowan's perspective. And he is obviously attracted to the Orb Weaver. This is what I was getting ahead of myself. The Orb Weaver. I'm sitting across the table from the fucking Orb Weaver, and she's fucking beautiful. Raven hair, warm hazel eyes, a spread of freckles over her cheeks, and a little nose that's turned a bit red. She clears her throat and takes a long sip from her beer, then frowns. Her eyes trained on her glass as she pushes it away.
So cute.
So cute. Rowan is obsessed with the fact that Sloane has not put a bra on when they like raided this man's closet that she killed. She stole his clothes. She scavenged his clothes because obviously she's not going to wear her filthy fucking clothes
Right.
to a barbecue restaurant.
She's like covered in maggots.
She's covered in maggots and blood.
But titties are hanging out.
And I'm like, it's like, no shit, Sherlock. Where's she supposed to come up with a bra? She's literally wearing scavenged men's clothing.
Come on, think this through.
They're at this diner where they're openly discussing stabbing people and like other shit. And I'm like, hey man, like this is public. Like, what are we doing? The food comes out. They ordered ribs. Rowan gets a hard on watching Sloane suck all the meat off the bones.
Ew.
Imagine what she could do with that fucking mouth. Bitch, she's eating after 3 days with no food. Leave her alone. Oh my God. Oh yeah. For the record, in case we missed it, we're set in Louisiana for this part. We learn that one of Sloane's calling cards is prying the eyeballs from her victims because foster a raven and it will peck out your eyes.
Is that where the Blackbird thing comes from?
Yes.
Yep.
And apparently, Rowan likes to like hack off people's limbs. That's like his calling card. So, you know, the butcher.
Okay.
The FBI.
God, now it makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
The FBI doesn't know much about the Orb Weaver, but she's known to leave intricate crime scenes, and her specialty is specifically other serial killers. By the way, no one suspects that the Orb Weaver is a woman.
Okay. That makes sense. I get like she's kind of doing the police a solid, but
Yeah.
also not allowing them to interrogate
Right.
these other serial killers. So maybe they're like, not happy about that.
I don't know if they ever even catch on that it's a woman.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Rowan's like so enthralled with her. From the second we met, she sparked my curiosity, fanning banked embers into glowing coals, and now she's ignited the first thread of flame. I want to know. I want the truth. He just loves her.
It's crushing hard.
He really wants her to feel the same way about him, obviously.
Obviously.
They talk shop for a little bit, and then Rowan's like, hey, I have a great idea. How about a little competition? It's friendly, of course. We're going to try to go and hunt this one specific serial killer up in the Pacific Northwest. And she's like, okay, cool. I'm in.
The Pacific Northwest is fabulous.
You know, where all the serial killers go. All the good ones are from the Pacific Northwest.
So gloomy, lack of vitamin D.
That's why they go
All
that shit
depressed.
crazy. They're
Yes.
all depressed. Flashing forward a year in chapter 3, Sloane is still waiting to hear back from Rowan to get the competition underway.
Wait, how far?
1 year.
1 year.
Okay, so they've met each other once, and then like 1 year later, they're meeting again.
And he's like instantly obsessed with her, and then he just
Yes.
cuts her off, cold turkey, ghosts
Okay,
her.
no, they like, I don't remember if at this point they're texting on their burner phones leading up to the competition, or if it's after this point, because I didn't write it down in my notes, but like they definitely do talk at some point with burner phones. Anyway, oh yeah, okay, yes, they spent the last year. Sorry,
memory loss.
It's fine. Memory, it's fine. They've been sporadically texting back and forth over the last year. She's waiting by the phone. She's got this like pedophile strapped to a table and is taking care of business with this man, literally on the phone with her best friend, whose name is Lark. Okay, so she's like, yeah, girl, I've got a scalpel in my hand. This man's bitching about everything. And she's like on the AirPods, like, yeah, love it. Whatever, it's normal.
Sounds like they're having a great time.
While surrounding out round 1 with the pedo, she took out all of his vocal cords. She receives a text from Rowan indicating the game's about to begin. And almost immediately upon the end of Rowan and like Sloane's flirty text convo, Lachlan, this is Rowan's oldest brother, texts with a location. They've decided that Lachlan is involved in this because he's impartial. Even though he's Rowan's older brother, he's like, I want you to fucking lose to her. So, like, he is the, like, this is where you're going to find the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Go and take care of him.
I love that they just, like, tell their family and friends, like...
Well, they don't really... Like, Sloane only has Lark, and Rowan, like, has his brothers. But, like, his brothers, they have, like, a They have a history, which you will learn.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why Lachlan is involved, and Lark is just like Sloane's only friend. Okay.
So she accepts her.
She's like,
as
okay,
she
it's
is.
cool. I love you.
You do you, bestie.
You do you. I will support. So the location is a small town in West Virginia called Ivydale, which means that the game is officially on. Sloane finishes the pedo off, and she's like, all right, let's go. Time to go kick some ass.
Do it.
So what I've neglected to mention is that Rowan doesn't just have one brother. He does have two. He's the middle child. The second brother is called, this is the name that I'm probably going to butcher. I think it's Fion. It's spelled Fionn.
I'd probably go with Fion too.
That's how I said it. I listened to a clip. I don't remember how the man said it on the YouTube clip.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I'm trying my best.
We can interpret how we want.
Sorry to our Irish listeners. I'm going to say Fion.
But we're not sorry. Deal with it.
Sorry. I am millennial and I am perpetually apologetic. The second brother, Fion, and he's making his grand entrance into the scene, chomping on a whole carrot, as Lachlan and Rowan are like explaining the competition and like what's going on. Lachlan is a leather worker, which leads me to believe that he is Leather from Leather and Lark, because we've already met Lark. So I think that Lachlan is Leather.
That would make sense.
Right.
Maybe it's their love story.
Anyway, I digress.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll let you know.
Yeah, tune in.
The boys are busy bickering about mundane shit, and Rowan's like jealous over his brothers knowing intel on Sloane and her methods. Like, because that's what they're talking about. Like, oh, Sloane and the Orb Weaver this and the Orb Weaver that. And Rowan's like, what the fuck? Keep her name out your motherfucking mouth, you know? Like, why are you jealous? They're your brothers. They're clearly not interested in her.
She's mine. No one can touch her.
No one but me. While the boys are bickering, Sloane's like, hey, boo, I'm on a plane right now.
On my way.
He's like, can we please restart? And she's like, abso-fucking-lutely not a chance that that's going to happen.
You had your chance.
You had your chance, but you're bickering with your brothers. So sorry, it's too late. I'm already on the plane. I've got a head start. As far as I can tell, Lachlan, at this point, as far as I can tell, Lachlan and Rowan are both like extremely murderous men.
The both of them?
Yeah. I don't think that Lachlan is a serial killer. I just think that he's like, I don't fucking care. I'll kill any. Like,
he's
I don't care. I'll kill.
He's a loose cannon.
And Fion, the baby child, is just like a nervous Nelly, and he's like, "No, please, don't, brothers. I'm worried about you." You know. And then I say, "Typical baby child.
Typical
of a baby child." So in chapter 5, Rowan and Sloane have linked up in West Bygod, Virginia.
West Bygod. I thought they were going to the Pacific Northwest.
They don't go there because I forget what exactly happens where they don't end up. Did they hunt him for a little while and they couldn't find him? I don't remember.
Fine.
I don't remember because the way that I remember reading this, it's like they eat, they part ways. He goes back to Boston. She goes to Raleigh. That's where she operates from.
Okay.
And then they just don't talk, like sporadically they text, but like.
So the serial killers probably moved on.
The game begins in West Virginia.
Aye.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Following.
She's reading on her e-reader and he like sneaks up and gives her like the fright of a lifetime. He rips it out of her hand and she jokes that she's reading monster porn and gives him very descriptive details about what's happening in her book. I'm pretty sure she's making it up, and he counters with, he needs that kind of entertainment because his TV is broken in his room.
Oh,
He tells Sloane,
no porn for him.
sorry, no porn for you, so go ahead and steal her e-reader for the monster porn.
Get the smut.
Get all the smut
Get the
that you can
smuttin'.
get. He tells Sloane that he's not in his room because he snuck out to get booze, which ends up being red wine, and they end up drinking directly from the bottle, despite Sloane joking about Rowan passing her man-pox to take out the competition. So he's like passing her man-pox so that he can win, as one does. We get a little bit of backstory about Rowan and his brothers coming to America. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And their hands keep like grazing
slowly
as they pass the bottle back and forth. And Sloane's like, fuck, man. I'm a thirsty bitch, you know?
Sloane's getting hot.
Sloane's like, oh. The hand touches, it's too much for me. Maybe it's also the red wine, but the hand touches, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a while for me. It's dust off the cobwebs. They continue to flirt. Rowan's like dead set. I'm going to read your book. I'm going to read whatever you're reading. I need the Dragon Man double penetration, is what he says. Francis.
Eiffel Tower.
Enter Francis. The hotel where Butcher and Blackbird are staying, he gives them some intel on where they can find their unsub. Now, this is something that I consistently did throughout. Anytime they have a target, that's the unsub. Like, okay. I couldn't help but think about Criminal Minds while I was reading this. I'm like, unsub.
Hell is an unsub?
I forget what it stands for. So, unknown subject. Okay.
Yay.
I just needed to jog my memory. Okay, I was going to tell y'all to leave a comment. Unknown subject. Rowan still tries getting the e-reader, but Sloane's like, no, I'm just going to, like, head to bed.
With my e-reader.
Right before she drifts off to sleep, he texts her, don't let the bed bugs bite. And we're moving on to chapter 6. The next day, Sloane appears dressed maybe a little nicer than normal. So Rowan's like, what the fuck, man? Why are you dressed so nice?
Where are you going, church?
He's concerned she's going on a date. And she's like,
yes.
She's like, maybe not. You'll never know. He's like, no, I'm going to go with you for protection. Which, like, did you remember like how this book opened? Like, she does not need his protection. So she laughs and she's like, dude, I'm a fucking serial killer. Like, I don't need you to protect me.
I'm good.
I'm so good.
I'm so good.
He is so fucking jealous about this not date. Like, so jealous.
He's just seething.
He's seething. He's like wearing a hole in the floor with his pacing. And she's like, I can hear you. I'm fine. Like, sit your ass down. I'm fine. I don't think that he was worried. Like, he's like, I just am worried about you. No, bitch, you're jealous.
Yeah, he wants control.
He literally takes his phone and he like punches it into the mattress. I'm like, oh man. And then he's like, fuck. So he like punches it into the mattress and he continues to pace. And I'm like, we don't need to pace so much. Quit pacing. She's fine.
Dude, turn on the hotel porn. The
TV is broken. He should have taken her. She should have been like, here, I'm going to go on a date. Here's my e-reader.
I will leave this for you. Have fun.
Have fun.
Keep it clean.
It's Kindle Unlimited.
Look for Kindle Unlimited.
3 hours later, she's back. And Rowan literally was driving himself crazy, wondering how she was doing, like what she's doing. So she puts on some music and she's quietly singing along, which Rowan, of course, hears. It's a hotel. The walls are paper thin. Yeah. Which means that he also hears when she starts tittling her bits a few minutes later. Her bits. Did I mention that he also hears her moaning his name?
Oh no. And he's like
like a true creeper, he's like putting his ear up against the wall to hear better. And because his ear's to the wall, he hears something that's not Sloane. Like something, maybe like someone hidden away, maybe eating their meat. Because they also hear Sloane.
Ew.
Or see Sloane. Whoever it is, has a hidden room behind this portrait where he is looking through the portrait and watching Sloane get herself off.
Creepy.
Very creepy. She thinks that Rowan was watching her the whole time. So she's literally fuming when she like comes out of her room. She's like, "What the fuck, man? Were you watching me?"
So she can hear the man.
She can hear she can hear, but she thinks that it's Rowan, like being a fucking creep, and she's like, "Oh my god." Rowan's like, "No, this is where the man was hidden. Look, you can see the eye holes cut out of the fucking portrait."
Wow.
Sloane is immediately like, "I know who it is. I know who the unsub is. I know who we're after." Can you guess?
No, I literally have no idea.
Darling Francis, the man who gave them intel, the hotel or Airbnb or wherever the fuck they're staying, the owner of that hotel is like the one who's watching her.
He's the one.
He's the one.
And he is the serial killer?
He knew so much about all these hikers that would come into the area and just go missing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it's him. He is the unknown. He's our unsub. He's the one that we're after. He watches guests and sometimes takes them out too. Sloane is on the hunt for one Francis Ross, who Rowan is like, is that who you went on a date with? And that's where the chapter ends. So
Of course he would go that way.
of course he would. Sloane is literally full on sprinting after Francis, and Rowan's like right behind her. He full rugby tackles her to the ground. It's a competition, let's not forget.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, why?
She's like, what the fuck? And they're like bickering a little bit back and forth about who gets to take Francis out. She's like, I knew it was him. The whole reason I was fucking jerking off in there is so that I could get him to watch me, so that I could take him out.
Rowan's like, yeah, fucking right.
So as they're bickering, Francis is in a car driving past them. So
He's like, out.
he's like, God, I gotta go. So Rowan does.
Here I come.
Rowan does what any sane person would do in this situation.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
He jumps in front of the car.
He jumps on the hood.
He's just holding on.
To paint a picture of what this looks like, I highlighted, and I'm gonna have to find it.
I'm just imagining every TV show where there's a chase and it's just a guy hanging on.
She paints a pretty good picture. With my body flat against the hood, I grip the edge of it with one hand and smash my rock into the windshield with the other.
Where'd he get the rock?
He must have grabbed it off the ground after he rugby tackled Sloane. I don't stop, not as we pick up speed, not even when the car swerves as the driver attempts to dislodge me. I deliver hit after hit. Glass crumbles with my repeated blows. It bites into my knuckles. It slides into my skin when I punch through to the other side and drop the rock to reach for the steering wheel. This man punched through the fucking windshield.
Dang.
Oh my God.
What a strong man to punch a hole through it.
Who puts the Glad in Gladiator? Rowan, whose last name I forget.
Insignificant.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine.
The wild ride ends with the car slamming into a tree, oak to be specific, and Sloane asking Rowan if he's okay. As she approaches the car, he grabs a hold of her throat and walks her back before growling, "Mine."
Ooh.
Ari, parentheses, my notes, parentheses, Ari, the unsub, ... I think. And she like bows out. She's like, cool, I'm gonna let you take this one.
You really put a lot of work into this, so it's fine.
Yeah, like you bashed your hand through a fucking windshield. You got this, bro. So anyway, he stalks after Francis and yanks him by his pink tie. Spoiler alert, it's a clip-on tie. And Rowan's like, what the fuck, a clip-on?
What is this shit?
So he's like making fun of Francis, throws it over his shoulder, and he tells dear Francis two things. One, he suspects Frankie was going to kill Sloane. And two, Sloane is ... in all capital letters, his.
Of course.
I love predictable MMC. I love a predictable MMC.
Yes.
She's mine. Kelly, I'm not joking. Rowan beats this man to death with his fists.
Ew.
For watching Sloane masturbate.
She's mine.
And Rowan's like, fuck, man. That was a brutal display of violence. I think that Sloane is scared off, conveniently forgetting that she literally gouges eyeballs from skulls.
She does not care. She's probably tiddling her bits to
like...
that. She's hiding behind the car. Watch the YouTube for my reenactment.
Oh my God, please.
Speaking.
But she's just looking at him and she's like, we got to get this cleaned up and we're going to start with you.
Yeah,
like your
I'm
hands.
sure his hands are jacked after that.
During the bandaging of Rowan's hands, we learn that he got the scar on his lip from his father and that he and Lachlan actually ended up killing their father before they fled Ireland.
If you're playing on our bingo card, now's your chance to mark off daddy issues.
Daddy issues. Unsure why, we do know that he smashed a broken plate into Rowan's face, and that's where the scar came from. Butcher and Blackbird then spend the next 3 days cleaning up. We know it's 3 days because Rowan tells us he spent the 3 days worried that she was going to flee the entire time.
Because he beat this man?
Because he beat the man to death with his fists. You know, nothing like a good show of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, he just has a little anxiety. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Meanwhile, I want you all to remember, this is only their second time meeting in person. Sure, they've texted sporadically, but, like, I'm thinking of how, like my friends who I text sporadically, and I'm like, no, we've been friends for 15 years. They're the ones that I text sporadically.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal. Not some rando that I just met.
Exactly.
6 months later, we're opening with a flirty text exchange between Rowan and Sloane over fucking toaster strudel. Oh, I have some quotes from the last chapter. That woman you were watching, my fingers tightening around his throat as he desperately nods, she's mine. I'm 100% positive that I hate you, and I'm 100% positive that you'll love me one day.
Wait, who was that said to?
That was Rowan. Touch that fucking table and I'll rip your goddamn hands off and use them to wipe my ass until the day I die.
What? Who did he say that to?
I think that he was saying that to...
It's fine
you know,
if you don't remember.
I might be getting ahead of myself. See, the problem is I, like, annotate the page number, and this tells me what percentage the highlights are from.
See, that's funky.
I hate it.
I wonder if there's a way to change it. But I do understand, depending on how big your font is.
Yeah.
Doesn't that show you, like, the percentage?
Yeah, percentage. I don't know what I highlighted. Sorry about that.
If you have any Kindle highlighting hacks, leave us a comment.
Leave me a comment, because I really rely on my highlights for my retelling, clearly. I think it makes it more fun when I can pull stuff directly from the book.
Yeah, I like it.
And aside from me having my Kindle and, like, opening the book to the notebook, I don't know how else to make this flow smoothly.
Yeah. I can cut. Can you cut and paste from Kindle?
It's huge when you do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
I do it to my notes app, and it puts it all at the same font.
Oh, maybe I should do that. I'll start doing that.
Either way, if you have
leave us
hints,
comments if you have any hacks.
Yes.
Aside from me being like, I could put 21%, and then that would be helpful, I guess. Don't worry. Even though they haven't seen each other in 6 months, at this point, the two have been texting daily. She's talking to Lark about this, who she also hasn't seen for 6 months. And Lark is like, ooh, a soulmate / best friend with benefits.
Oh.
They start talking about dry spells, and Lark is set on convincing Sloane to end hers with Rowan. Sloane is afraid. I get it, girl. She's going to ruin their friendship or, like, whatever they have going on. So she's like, I don't know what to do. Lark's like, you know what you should do? You should go to Boston to visit him. And
like, surprise him.
Yeah,
there?
surprise him. You clearly miss him. Go surprise him in Boston. 3 months later, like, it ends, and then 3 months later, we are in Boston.
Okay. Big gap, but it's fine.
Sloane is finally showing up at this restaurant called 3 and Coach. It's called 3 and Coach for the 3 Irishmen who fled Ireland many moons ago, because they were 3 seats in Coach. Okay.
And these guys are 3 Irishmen, right?
Yeah, the brothers. So obviously the third book is going to be about Fionn, right? It has to be.
It has to be.
She's feeling a little stalkery and weird, which is apt considering she's a serial killer. She orders a cucumber margarita, frozen, because the waitress is like, girl, that's my fave.
Yeah. I want one.
She's, like, eating her meal in near peace and drawing in this notebook because she's alone. She orders a dessert, and then this big, huge party of 7 walks in. Lachlan Kane, their last name is Kane. Yeah. Lachlan Kane at the forefront of the group. So she's like, fuck.
She's like,
I need the dessert to go.
She's like hiding under the table.
I gotta go. She's like, I'm gonna leave this doodle behind. The doodle's a raven. She's like, I'm gonna leave it on the table. It's fine. She's almost clear when she hears her nickname
Blackbird.
And she turns around to see Lachlan's shit-eating grin, and then Rowan is standing there in a chef's coat.
Oh.
Because he's a chef.
At this restaurant?
At this restaurant.
Oh my god.
Sloan is like, oh my fucking god. She's like very clearly like massively panicking. Rowan's like barking at the waitress not to clear Sloane's table. Like, we're going back over there. And Sloane's like, oh my god. Like, she's stumbling over her words about why she's in Boston. She's pretending that she's on a work trip.
She's like, I'm not ready for this.
She's like, oh my god. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to fucking do. Lachlan slips out from his table. He blocks Sloane in before butting into the conversation as a typical oldish child would.
Yes. I'm middle, so I'm more with Lachlan.
Lachlan's the oldest. You're Rowan. Shit. I'm Lachlan.
I'm sorry, I'm Rowan. I'm mixing up the main character.
It's fine. Rowan's like, sit your ass down, and he like goes over to Sloane's table, and he's like very hyper fixated on this table, and I know where we're at now. No, I don't. Just oh yeah, okay, this. Okay, this is where the touch that fucking table, and I'll rip your goddamn hands off and use them to wipe my ass until the day I die. That's where that's from.
And somebody's yelling that at the waitress?
That's Rowan yelling it at the waitress.
Calm down, Rowan.
You're trying to wipe your ass with other people's hands.
This might be a family establishment. Come on.
The chaos continues because this beautiful, leggy, blonde woman comes in. She, like, wraps her fucking arms around Rowan's shoulders. And Rowan's like, oh, this is my friend Anna. And Sloane's like, fuck. And Anna's like, oh, are you going to be joining us? And Sloane's like, oh, I got to go. Like, she's like trying not to melt into the floor from embarrassment. Like, oh my God.
Like, I got to get out of here.
She is clearly feeling a certain type of way about the interaction. And Rowan's like, man, what the fuck? Like, he's just resigned to her fleeing. Mm-hmm. Finally, her urge to run is met. She escapes. She actually cries from embarrassment. Aww. And I was like, oh my God, I actually feel really bad for you.
I could see myself doing that.
Because she was like, she went in only expecting to maybe see Rowan, and then she's bombarded by this huge party of people. Mm-hmm. And only Lachlan knows who she is and what she does besides Rowan. So she's just like, oh my God, I didn't know what to fucking do.
Yeah.
And she's really shy and reserved, hence why she only has the one friend. So I just really I felt for her right then. She goes back immediately she goes back to her hotel room, and she's like, I'm booking my flight for first thing the next morning. I'm leaving. Like, I'm out of here. She texts Rowan a little bit more. It's really awkward. Rowan tells her he wishes she'd stayed. She shuts her phone off, claiming revenge is easy. Everything else in life is hard. And I agree. Pause for Diet Coke.
Pause for Diet Coke out of our West 6 brewing glasses.
It's not beer.
Adam and I got these in Lexington on a bike trip. So if you're in Lexington, check them out.
And if you're not, then don't.
They have deep fried, you know how like people do deep fried pickles? Mm-hmm. They do deep fried like pepperoncinis.
Oh, I think you talked to me about those before.
To dive bar.
Watch the video for Kelly's dramatic eye roll.
So good.
I like fried green beans.
I don't know if I've had.
Which restaurant does that? Is it Roadhouse?
I haven't been. It's been years.
I don't know. One of them. My ex-in-laws would get them. I think.
Sounds good.
Or maybe it was me and Elizabeth. I don't know. I have no short-term memory. Oh, also, by the way, this book specifically was part of my book club for Elizabeth and I. So it's a 2-for-1. I read it for my book club with her, and now you all get to reap the benefit as well. Are you having fun?
I didn't know.
Are y'all having fun? Because this book was so fun to read.
They are having fun.
I know. I see them nodding their heads.
Our one viewer.
Thank you.
They're like,
just let me keep it 100 with you. You're a real one.
We love you.
Fast forward. Rowan is standing outside of Sloane's house.
So she did get on the plane and leave.
She did.
Okay.
Watching as a kid, he paid, knocks on Sloane's door, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, it just picks up with him outside of her house. I'm like, how does he know where she lives? Like,
he hunts serial killers. It's
right.
fine. He's like a woman.
The kid is like, here is this thing. It's a paper bag. Rowan pays him $100 in total before they agree to meet at the same time tomorrow. What he paid the kid for. Any guesses as to what's in the bag?
Like a body part?
No, that's not how you romance a woman, even if
Well,
it is a serial killer, Kelly.
Eyeballs?
It's,
She likes eyeballs. She's got a thing for them.
it's orzo.
Oh, really?
So,
Like cooked?
no,
Just
uncooked
raw
orzo.
orzo?
Yep, there's a
And
point.
she's like, get the shit out of here.
There is a point, and I am getting there. They start texting, but it's more like Rowan's bossing her around and telling her what to do with the orzo. She's cooking it with mushrooms, garlic, asparagus, parmesan, which actually sounds kind of fucking fire, to be honest. I know you don't like mushrooms.
I was about to say minus the mushrooms.
I would eat all of Kelly's mushrooms.
Ugh.
She
I
calls
wanna like 'em.
him, and he's clearly trying to make up for their weird encounter at the restaurant. He tells her, we're going to cook together, and demands to be put on speaker. And he's like, now start grating the Parmesan.
Get that block out.
He tries to be a little vulnerable. I wish you would have stayed, Blackbird. I would have taken you back into the kitchen. We could have made something together. She's like, you were busy. I was intruding. He says, I would have made time for you. I swallow before I can say more than I should. You're my friend. Maybe one day my best friend. That's Rowan talking to her.
So he's the cook or Lachlan's the cook?
Rowan is the cook.
Okay, my bad. I'm
Lachlan
sorry.
is a leather worker. Okay.
Got it. I like that he's a cook.
Me too. You always look pretty. When you came to the restaurant, I said, Rowan hiccups twice, then drowns the next one with a gulp of wine. I said, Sloane is the most beautiful girl in the world. And then my brother called me a feckin' idiot.
Fucking idiot.
Because I could have all the pussy I wanted in Boston, but instead I've taken a vow of abstinence. Abstinence? Abstinence. Over a girl who doesn't want me. He like loves her.
The poor dear.
And you said aw, and I was like, it would have worked on me because I was like, aw. They continue this track of cooking together where he's having the kid deliver food and she's cooking and he's telling her what to do on the phone. 2 more times. This feels like a way for Sloane and Rowan to develop a deeper emotional connection, in my opinion, since they've literally only seen each other in person 3 times.
Meanwhile, he's like peeking in her
He's like,
window,
I fucking
watching
love
her.
He's like, grate the Parmesan, not like that. On the 4th day, the kid doesn't show up, and Sloane's like outside her house, like, where is he? Like, she's expecting it, and Rowan's watching her. He has to force himself to get on the plane and go home.
This would be the perfect time for him to walk up and like,
Surprise,
put
bitch.
this shit
But he
together.
knows too much about her. He knows that she's flighty. So he knows that if he were to approach her like that, it would scare her away. And he's trying to win her over, even though they've only met in person 3 times.
It's like a long distance relationship. It's fine.
Literally is. So he gets on the plane and she has texted him as he's on the plane, and he purposefully does not text her back until he lands in Boston. This is
Did he leave her on red?
He did not read the text.
Okay.
This is how Rowan ends up getting Sloane to agree to meet up with him the next time she's in Boston. And then the game continues. Another unsub. Thorsten Harris this time. Sloane is talking us through her process of getting an unsub to be trusting, and then Rowan slides his way into her meeting by dropping a motorcycle helmet on the table and introducing himself to Mr. Harris. Rowan then spends the next 2 hours charming the pants off of this man.
Ooh, literally?
No. And getting himself invited to a dinner that Sloane has been working on for 4 days. She's like, I've been orchestrating getting this meeting with this man for 4 days. You come with a fucking motorcycle helmet, and in 2 hours, you're cool? Like, what the fuck,
this
man?
one's mine. You had the last one.
You got the last one. So she makes some snide comment about their little cooking together routine, and Rowan's like, he's a cheat at this game that they're playing, and I suggest that we implement new rules. Rule 1, Rowan has to do his own research. Oh, because he's been cheating, like, by sliding in on, like, her coattails.
Yeah.
As it turns out, Rowan doesn't even know who the target is or why he's the target. Sloane knows everything about Thorsten Harris, the target. And Rowan's like, I just followed you here.
I just figured you'd do all the work.
He's like, it's like Peach. The cuteness continues as Rowan helps Sloane pick out an outfit to wear for dinner with Thorsten. When she pulls up, he compliments her dress, indicating whoever picked it, they have impeccable taste. And she's like, yeah, but no boundaries. During the dinner, Thorsten asks a question about Rowan and Sloane's relationship, and the two of them give vastly different responses as to the nature of their relationship. R.E., when they started talking to each other, Sloane makes a snide comment about not being able to compete with the wait staff at Rowan's restaurant, or adoring socialite regulars, and Rowan responds with, no one competes with Sloane. She just hasn't realized it yet. My heart.
They're so sweet.
It's so sweet.
These murderous little lovers.
Murderous little lovebirds. All through dinner, it's clear Sloane thinks Rowan does not know who Thorsten is. They talk about the food, which Sloane is like, it's fine. Yeah. Rowan's like, hey man, show me your garden. And Thorsten's like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll show you my garden. That's where I'm gonna get you. Fucking get you. Get you. Thorsten has an assistant whose name is David, and he's like, this is David, my manservant. He's mute. He's got like these bruises around his eyes, and Thorsten's like, oh, he was in an accident. That's why he can't talk, and that's why he's here working for me. David's not mute. David did not have an accident. Thorsten lobotomized him.
Oh, no.
So, henceforth, anytime I talk about this man, he will be called Lobotomy David.
Who's that one, sir? Jeffrey Dahmer. How he tried to lobotomize one of his victims. And this guy, like, tried to flee, but he, like, couldn't form coherent sentences or anything.
Was that in that show?
It was in the Netflix.
I don't know how I missed that.
I think it might have been in the documentary and the reenactment. I don't know what you call that.
The one with Evan Peters?
Yeah.
I watched that one. I don't think that I watched the documentary.
Yeah, but it is in the one with Evan Peters as well.
We are Midwest transplants here. Anytime we go through Milwaukee, we're like Jeffrey Dahmer's stomping grounds.
Yes. I actually rode up there and went to like the plot of land that used to be the apartment complex.
Crazy. You remember for Ashley's Bachelorette when Emily was like, it was around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a club or something.
Yeah, because we went to a gay club, and Emily was like, it was around here. Anyway, we digress.
Sorry. Back to
Lobotomy David. Rowan is apparently utterly plastered at this point because he thinks Sloane is saying she loves him, but she's like, and he's like, you love me?
Funny.
And then he turns around and brings up when Sloane came to Boston. Oh yeah, you always look pretty. He's drunk when he says, you always look pretty. When you came to the restaurant, I said, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't me getting ahead of myself, but that's when he says that. Okay. Now, I'm going to read you something.
I'm ready.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't highlight it. I just said in all capital letters, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. This is the cannibalism part. We didn't read trigger warnings for this book.
Oh, we forgot.
There is an accidental cannibalism trigger in this book. We are at the point, ladies and gents. Clutch your pearls, ladies and gents. I wear these pearls every time just for that.
I know, I keep saying that, and I'm like, that's such a good idea, and then I forget as soon as we leave our studio.
Get you some pearls.
I will.
To clutch.
I will.
We're at course with this salad. Rowan is, as I've mentioned, completely plastered when the salad comes out. He recognizes the salad and says, oh my God, I love the salad. I forget what it's called. It's something French. It has meat on it, like raw meat on it.
Like frog raw.
So yeah, something.
I didn't even say that right.
Something.
I can see it in my brain, but I can't say it.
So he immediately digs into the salad, and Sloane's like, Rowan, don't, no. Like, really trying to stop him because she's like, I know what's there. But it's too late because he scoops up lettuce, green beans, cherry tomatoes, and beef and goes to town. There's a bit of silence. No, I'm sorry. He gets a few bites down before he passes out face down on his plate.
into the meat.
To the meat. There's a little bit of silence between Thorsten and Sloane, and they're like staring at each other.
And that song is playing. She knows.
And she points out.
I don't know. She knows.
That he was eating a salad with, quote, thinly sliced rare human steak.
Ugh.
Thorsten, of course, thinks that Sloane has been drinking the wine that he's been serving all night. She has not, but he was banking on her drinking the wine the entire time.
Is it roofied? Or something similar?
Because she wasn't drinking the wine, but Rowan was. She ends up not being drugged like Rowan.
Huh.
She looks at this man and she's like, well, it's just you and me now.
And then there were two. And Lobotomy Dan. Or whatever his name is.
David.
Lobotomy David
is in the kitchen at this point. It's literally just
like hanging into the cupboard.
He's like sitting on the counter kicking his little feet. Rowan's awake. Okay, Rowan's awake and Sloane is plucking eyeballs while Rowan's puking, and she's like, hey man, by the way, just so you know, you ate a person. More vomiting. Sloane apparently tortured it out of Thorsten that it was rump roast that Rowan ate.
Sick.
Taking eating ass to a whole new extreme.
Is this a Brittany quote or a quote from the book?
That's a Brittany quote. Brittany wrote that in her notes because I was like, it's too good of a joke to miss. Anyway, Sloane has woven a web with a fishing line at her scene, and she's like, this is where Thorsten's left the bodies, and no one's been smart enough to figure out that that's what I've been doing, laying a map of all of, like, his trail of bodies. She marks the spots on the map with bits of flesh taken from various parts of Thorsten's body.
Yeah. So she's also a butcher at this point.
Yeah.
Not just an eye plucker.
Not just an eyeball gouger. We learn that Sloane became a serial killer because of a man who was abusing her beloved Lark.
Aww.
And I assume it was sexually because they were in high school at the time. They're going to start their cleanup. They're making their way to the kitchen. Lobotomy David is literally in there swinging his legs on the counter.
He's like, hey.
Sitting there eating what appears to be cookies and cream ice cream and is in fact actually ice cream made with semen milked April 10th through April 13th, which causes Rowan to barf yet again.
Were you giggling while reading? I kind of am intrigued at like the humor in this.
It's like it's very like it's such a unique sense of humor, like very on brand for me.
I like it.
I really like it.
Oh, shit, there's this show that Adam and I watch, and there's an assassin, and she kind of has the same sense of humor. I'm gonna have to remember what it's called because it's so funny.
And we'll pop it right here if Kelly thinks of it. And if not, there's nothing right here.
Yeah, I know it's on Netflix, and there's only like 3 or 4 seasons, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put it here later.
It's right there. Sloane then tries to convince Rowan that Lobotomy David deserves a job at his restaurant because deep down she has a heart of gold and they can't just leave him there.
We got a place for you, man.
Rowan's like, fine, I'll do anything for you, Sloane.
Throw him in the trunk.
And also, this is her year. She's like, I deserve a victory claim. I won this year.
Yeah.
So you have to do this for me. It's what I want because I won. She also is like, hey, you can have a victory claim too because you won last year. Whatever you want. And I can already see where it's going. We're going to end with Sloane confessing she didn't go to Boston for a meeting like she told him.
Aw, cutesy.
It's been 8 months.
Cutesy. From Lobotomy David and
Thorsten's unaliving.
Ah.
It's been 8 months since they've seen each other. Lark is like, Sloane, you're wearing a booby dress. It's a dress that highlights her breasts for those of you who are new here. You have to wear a booby dress for your next meeting. You're going to Boston. You got to wear a booby dress. You need to. They've been talking regularly, but not really consistently over the last 8 months because Rowan is working on opening another restaurant.
Oh.
We love that. Sloane is gearing up to tell him that she maybe wants more from him, and Lark is like, yeah, girl, you got this, giving her the pep talk, that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't, but like we all know the pep talk because
it happens.
We're married ladies now.
Yeah.
We don't need to give the pep talk to each other, but like it's been there.
Yeah.
You all know the pep talk that we're talking about. Like, go get you some ass, girl. You
Get
deserve
it.
Get it.
It's been a
Get
while.
It's been a while. Dust those cobwebs off. It's Rowan's birthday in just 2 days. He claims not to remember all the sweet shit he said about Sloane being like beautiful and him saving himself for her during the little cannibal house fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
And Sloane's feeling really unsure, like all the what ifs are going through her mind over this whole ordeal. It's really real of her. She has agreed to accompany him to this gala in Boston as his date. He texts her.
Again, bingo card. Mark off. Gala.
He texts her, I'll be the pretty boy in the black suit. I'll be the pretty boy in a black suit. I can see that, but I'm not sure how I'm going to keep it from getting to your head if you look that good. So he's texting her that when she's coming down like the stairs for the gala and he's picking her up. She's very clearly appreciative of how he looks because she always calls him pretty boy. Like consistently,
really?
She calls him pretty boy.
Oh, I kind of like that.
I love it.
Troll your man.
Troll your man. Ladies, as somebody who trolls her man constantly, troll your man.
Troll them.
Troll that man. They love it. A little gentle bullying to your significant other does wonders for your relationship.
It really does.
Eric literally loves it when I bully him gently.
Yeah, I think Adam does too.
Yeah, I'm
He's like, oh, okay.
Like, is that how I flirt with my man? Just be a little mean to him.
I sent you like 25 memes about bullying.
Kelly, what's my name in my husband's phone?
Shit. Madam Baby.
Madam Baby.
Madam Baby.
And
Brittany, all these pet names for?
Yes. I'm older than my husband, so she sent me all these pet names, and one of them was Madam Baby, and I just could not stop laughing. So I changed my name in his phone to that.
What the fuck?
He literally was like, what the fuck is this what you're on my phone for? I don't go through your phone, sir. I just was messing with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, she comes down the stairs, they embrace, he kisses her neck, and apparently the energy is feeling supercharged between them. Would have kissed your cheek, but I didn't want to ruin your makeup, he claims. He splurged on a fancy car for their ride to the gala, and he's like holding her hand in the car. But then he says he needs to have fun with his best friend. So Sloane is like, what the fuck, man? Like, you just kissed my neck and you're holding my hand, but you're calling me your best friend?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What do you want?
You're sending me mixed signals here.
All the mixed messages. Sloane's like, what the fuck? Good reason to, because at this soiree, she's like, hey, come on, let's dance together. And he's like, you see that man over there? He's a serial killer. Let's go have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Also,
we're going to have a good time.
He's done his homework.
But it's not the game right now. They're not playing the game.
Oh, you're right.
Like, we're at this, it won't take long. Like, it'll take 10 minutes. We'll be back before anybody misses us. And she's like, I just wanted to dance with you. Like, I'm starting to have feelings for you. I don't want to go fucking kill this man. I just want to dance with you.
Yeah, this is our date.
I'm like, God damn. So she's like in the middle of being swept away in her feelings. And this dumbass finally realizes that Sloane came for him, not to help him murder somebody. And he's like, holy shit. So he leans down to kiss her. And his phone starts ringing when he's like centimeters from having the fuck it moment.
Oh my god.
You know the fuck it moment where they're like, fuck this. And they're like,
yeah.
Bam.
Face fucking.
Apparently, the pastry stove in the restaurant blew up. So he has a literal fire that he needs to go and put out.
Shit.
He kisses her on the forehead.
Which is still sweet.
He flees. The next morning, Sloane's like, fuck this. I'm checking out of my hotel. I'm going to Madrid. And he's like, texting her, I miss you. She's like,
fuck this.
Are we still on for the annual game? And he's like, I would let all my restaurants burn to the ground before I miss our game.
Aw.
4 months later, we're in Texas.
4 months later.
For what appears to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired unsub, because there's literally a chainsaw roaring in the background.
Oh my gosh. Which there is a chainsaw on the cover, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
There it is. It's literally like they show up in the middle of nowhere, Texas. It's like, oh
my gosh.
The whole chapter paints a picture of Harvey Mead, but not really, because I don't know what the fuck he does besides rip a chainsaw. Like,
Okay.
no.
Just this random character with a chainsaw?
Yes. So,
all right, we can get behind this.
cool. Sloan is like, let's split up. And Rowan's like, you got yourself a deal, sister. Let's split up. Bad idea.
Are they running through a cornfield too?
No, they're at a house.
Okay, I'm just imagining Texas Chainsaw with
No,
the
it's like a Texas
cornfields.
Chainsaw Massacre house.
Okay.
It's a bad idea. You want to know why it's a bad idea? Because Harvey monitors his property.
Cameras?
Yep. And
CCTV?
he definitely knows that they are there via his CCTV. Sloan walks into this room where all these monitors are, and he, like, the man is not in there, and she's like, holy fucking shit. She sees Rowan walking down the hall, and the man, like, stalking after him, and she's like, shit! Run! But it's too late. It's too late. She's going to scream for him, but as she opens her mouth to scream, Harvey puts his boot in her face, like kicks her in the face. So she thinks that she sees him stalking after Rowan, but he's actually coming down the hall to her. Kicks her so fucking hard in the face.
Oof.
Leaves a boot print, kicks her so hard in the face. Like, you can see what brand the boot is on her face.
Rowan is not going to be happy about
Rowan's
this.
going to be greatly displeased about you, Harvey. So Harvey gets a hold of Sloan, and he throws her down into his basement with another woman who just keeps sobbing that he killed Adam. Sorry, Rip.
Oh, Adam.
R.I.P. Adam.
We love our Adam.
Rowan's texting Sloan, like, where the fuck are you? And she's like, I'm in the basement. There's no woman down here. And he's like, hold tight, love. I'm coming. But not, like, coming. Like, I'm on my way.
In case you couldn't decipher that.
Sloan is like, what? Like, she's rereading the message. She's like, I don't have time to spiral into this. Like,
oh, he texted her?
Yes.
I thought you were telling me, and I'm like,
he literally texted
okay,
her,
thanks.
hold tight, love, I'm coming. She's like, I don't have time. I don't have time to spiral. She's like, I gotta figure it out, like, save it for another time. It's all good. She gives her shirt off of her back to the woman in the cellar because conveniently the woman is naked. Her name's Autumn, and this is the point where Sloan is like, fuck, my shoulder's also dislocated.
Oh. Does the crying woman have a nurse background?
No. Rowan busts down the goddamn door with an axe, pulls Sloan out by one hand, and, like, crushes her into a hug. The whole time, Autumn is freaking the fuck out in the basement.
She's like, who the fuck are you guys?
Screaming. Rowan's like, we're gonna come back for her. And I just know that he was, like, livid in this scene.
He's like, sit tight.
He gets Sloan to a spot where he can, like, check her for injuries. He tells Sloan he thinks her shoulder isn't just dislocated.
Ooh.
He puts, like, he's on his knees in front of her with his head buried in her stomach, apologizing to her. And she's, like, putting her hands through his hair. She's like, come on, like, you gotta stand up. He's, like, telling her he can't lose her. And she's like, then you better fucking kiss me. Meanwhile, there's literally a chainsaw still just ripping in the background.
Just running continuously?
He's still, like, on the loose, but boy, do they kiss.
It really adds.
They do. They only break apart.
She's holding him with the one arm because the other one's dangling, like, at a
like, by her side. The only reason they break apart is because Autumn screams again, and they hear the chainsaw, like, louder.
Uh-oh. Is the chainsaw ripping through Autumn at this point?
It's not.
And her borrowed t-shirt?
So he kisses her one more time, and then he picks up his axe, which is literally bringing a knife to a gunfight. Like, what are we doing?
I'll be back.
He's like, I'm going to get revenge on him for hurting my girl. He uses the axe to chop the man's kneecap.
Ugh.
And also the chainsaw chain. So it doesn't work anymore, and the chainsaw chain's broken. Sloan goes and grabs the corpse of his mother, which I forgot to mention, by the way. Harvey kept the corpse of his mom in the house.
How Norman Bates of you.
I know. She tortures him with that.
She tortures
Harvey with the corpse of his mother. It's very, very brutal. It was extremely dark.
She's not just making her dance. She's doing some other
voodoo, like, laying it down on top of him and stuff.
Oh.
Rowan's like, I love that.
That's my girl.
Apparently, it causes Harvey to have a heart attack. Like, she literally scared him to death.
with his mom's
corpse.
Not with the kneecap missing
Nope.
or...
You literally scared him to death. You should be proud.
That's pretty good.
Pretty impressive. To be so honest, they burned the place down and hit the road to Nebraska.
Wait, what about Autumn?
She ran away. She fled. They were like, by the time she comes back here with the cops, we got to be donezo. Burn it down.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Burn it down. They're on the road to Nebraska to see Fionn. Rowan's brother, Fionn, happens to be a doctor, by the way.
Ah.
All right. So it's a long road from Texas to Nebraska.
That is a long drive.
In Nebraska, they are at Fionn's house, where Rowan is promptly clubbed in the head by a crutch from some woman named Rose, who calls Fionn, telling him there's a battered woman and a man claiming to be his brother in the house.
No. Who are these people?
Fionn makes Rowan tell his childhood nickname for proof it's him. Any guesses to what the childhood nickname is?
Rowan's childhood nickname?
Yep.
No.
You're never going to guess. It's Shit Flicker.
You know, I was going to guess that.
It's hard.
I missed my chance.
I should have just waited. So Rose then leaves. Sloane's like, hey man, what the fuck is that nickname? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And she's like, please, Daddy, tell me.
Please, Daddy.
He tells her she's lucky she's injured, or he'd, quote, spank her ass till it glowed. And then,
of course.
And then, I teach you a lesson about wanting to come so badly you have to beg for it.
Wow, things just took a sharp turn.
Okay, right? At this point, we are 58% in, and they have only kissed.
Wow.
So when we talk about here for the plot, like, it's literally the plot. Like, they've kissed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Spank her ass till it glowed. Rowan makes his way to the kitchen for a bev, and Rose tells him, I'm in one guest room, so y'all are gonna have to be in the other guest room, and you're gonna have to share a bed.
Oh, not the share a bed scene.
One bed? Only one bed?
Only one bed in this inn? That's a ACOTAR
Your girl loves only one bed.
quote.
I was literally fist pumping, like, fuck yes, it's about to get real.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Ugh. I hate that phrase.
You're welcome.
I hate it.
Fionn checks her shoulder out. We're moving on. Sloane wakes from a nightmare about her first kill to Rowan telling her she's having a nightmare. What'd you think? No shit.
Okay.
Wonderful. So glad that you're here, Captain Obvious.
Appreciate ya.
He's like, let me draw you up a bath so you can clean up a bit. After Fionn, like, fixed her up. So he's like, I can go get Rose to help you clean up. Like, she can wash you. I know that you're in a sling. Like,
Yeah,
she can come help you.
She's incapacitated a bit.
She's like, I don't want her to help me. I want you to.
You get it. You get in there with me.
She's feeling, like, really emotional about her physical appearance right now, which is why I kind of harped on, like, the boot print being on her face. She's like, I'm just so fucking ugly right now. Like,
Her face is all pretty colors.
she references her face looking like an eggplant, and he disagrees, and he's like, no, the color reminds me more of blackberries. Then he says, you're all the best things to me, Sloane, no matter how many bruises are in your heart or on your skin. Literally.
Sweet.
Like, oh my god, he's literally a murderer, but he's so sweet.
He's just a hopeless romantic
I'm like,
who
deep
murders
down
people.
inside, he's got a heart of gold too.
Brittany's like crying.
Literally, I'm like, again, I melt. So they have this heart to heart while she's in the tub, and he reveals, I remember everything that I said at the cannibal's house.
Oh.
And that for the last 4 years, because that's how long they've known each other at this point, the last 4 years have basically been killing him because of how badly he wants Sloane and how pissed at himself he is that she's hurt.
So he's telling this to her? Okay.
Yeah, he's finally being like, no, girl, you know how bad I've wanted you for the last 4 years. She kisses him, and then she's like, let me take those hands down my body.
Giggity, giggity.
Down her body, where he discovers several rather intimate piercings.
I thought you were going to say a penis. I was like, it turns out
surprise,
she's a he.
Surprise, shawty. It's a dick. No.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said she's a he because we do not judge.
No, we
If
don't.
you identify as whatever you want.
Hey, be you. Be you, boo boo. He knew that she had her nipples pierced, and he knew that she had her belly button pierced. He did not know about the ones on her nether regions,
Oh
and
my
I'm going to
gosh.
tell you about them in a little bit.
Can't wait.
He takes her out of the tub, carries her soaking wet to the room, and he's like, "Tell me about these piercings right now."
I am
So
elated.
she's like, "This one's for this." So she's like, "Okay, fine. The one on my clit is about control. I want to be in control of my body, so I got my clit pierced." She has her labia pierced for armor. She has a fourchet for confidence. I don't know what a fourchet is. I think that must be near your booty hole. This is not safe for YouTube, y'all. Don't leave me a comment.
Don't comment on this.
I will just Google what a fourchet is, or like ask the lady who does my tattoos. The piercer works in there too. I'm sure he'll tell me what a fourchet is. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, to be so honest. So the fourchet is for confidence with hope that her partner might enjoy it too.
I'm Googling.
Okay,
Is that
thank
bad?
you. Go ahead and Google. He wants to know if her partners have enjoyed the fourchet piercing, and she's like, I don't know. I haven't had any. I haven't been with anybody since I met you. And he's like, why? Why have
I'm
you
listening, I promise.
Why have you not been with anybody since you met me? You're not allowed to hide from me. You have to tell me.
Aw.
She's like, well, obviously you fuck. It's because I've only wanted to be with you.
Okay, so it's at the opposite end.
Of the clit?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Picture.
We cannot put that on YouTube. Down here.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. That's kind of where I thought.
Like right below the JJ.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks, Kelly.
Right there.
So,
You're welcome.
so he's like kneeling between her legs at this point. And he's like, you better pick a safe word and you better fucking do it now. Because he plans to absolutely ruin her for other men. Drop your guesses for the safe word in the comments. What's your guess?
Something with a bird.
Incorrect. It's chainsaw.
Why wouldn't it be?
Oh my god. All right.
Did he giggle at this? Was he like,
No,
you silly girl?
No, it's serious business for him.
Ah.
Buckle up, sluts. We're 64% in, and it is time to go to town. So he is going down on her. It is clear he wants them to be heard. Bear in mind, Miss Girl is still injured. Good for her, though. Good for her.
Hey, you get it. Get
So
that.
he devours her and then fucks the ever-living shit out of her. We're not going to be graphic. The safe word isn't used.
That means she likes it.
She likes it.
A little bit.
He falls asleep inside her, and she's still so keyed up she can't sleep. So she's like, even though we've gone for countless rounds, I'm going to just tittle my bits a little bit.
Whilst
he's inside her, and obviously she's caught red-handed, and it leads to a little backdoor business. Okay. They talk a little more, too. And the next morning, she's like, hey, Rose, sorry, girl. You probably couldn't sleep last night. And Rose was like, bitch, I was in the circus. I could sleep on a literal tilt-a-whirl, and I would have been fine.
Nothing.
I heard nothing. I sleep like I'm dead. Theon, on the other hand, is like, what the fuck, man?
You come to my house?
He's like, I said no rough sports. And Rowan's like, we weren't playing sports, we were having sex.
Fion's like, I fucking know.
Theon's like, I literally told you to take it easy. He's like, you really need to take it easy. Do you have anyone to help you at home? And she's like, no. But Rowan's like, I'll be there.
I'll
It's gonna
be
be me.
there.
So she's like, are you coming to Raleigh with me? And he was like, you're coming to Boston with me. Like, you have no choice,
You're
girl.
business, girl.
You're going to Boston. So Lark and Sloan are at 3 and Coach. Sloan has a standing reservation. There's a sign at the host podium. It's pretty cute. The hostess is to immediately get Rowan anytime Sloan comes in to seat her. Sloan's finally realizing, oh my god, I'm fucking in love with him. And Lark is like, cool. Rowan comes out of the kitchen, sits down at Sloan's standing table. Like, him and Lark immediately hit it off as far as friendship goes. It's really cute. Their meal's over. Rowan's like, we're going to go to the new restaurant location. What's the name of the restaurant?
Chainsaw?
Nope.
Frick.
Butcher and Blackbird.
Aww.
I said cringe.
And I'm like, aww.
Also, I forgot to mention, Sloane has now moved to Boston at this point to live with Rowan.
As she should.
As she should. So he's taking her to the new restaurant, and I'm so sure he's about to live out his fantasy of fucking her in the restaurant because he told her that he wants to. She tells him she loves him, like just blurts it out. And he's like, obviously I love you too. Here's this whole ass restaurant I've themed around you.
So cute.
He takes her to the kitchen and they proceed to cook together because they're working on finalizing the lunch menu. So now we are cooking together in person. For dessert, he tells Sloane to bend over the counter and pull up her dress. There is actual dessert though too.
She wants some sausage?
So here we are. The two are attached and he is feeding her dessert.
I don't understand. I mean, I understand, but it's like
why?
Why is this happening twice?
Why?
Hey, we all have our thing. It's okay.
He's like, hey, go out to the dining room after they've like spent their moment discussing how to make the creme brulee that this restaurant will serve unique. They're going to add persimmon to it for those of you who are curious. He tells her to sit on her table, which she's like, I know which one's mine very easily. He comes out and he sees that she hasn't followed instructions and starts making demands. He then proceeds to devour her on the table at the restaurant. Then they do each other on the bench casually in front of the windows. No big deal.
People are walking by. And
it's Boston, downtown. People walking by. And he's just like plowing into her in the restaurant.
It's okay.
Opening night of Butcher and Blackbird goes extremely well. We suspect that Lachlan and Lark have hooked up. Rowan puts his foot in the mouth, or in his mouth the next day by making it sound as though Sloane is a burden to him and their game shouldn't continue because he's like, I have to worry about my restaurants, not this game right now. Like,
listen,
Linda.
Growing in this relationship. We don't need to be hunting people down anymore. More important things.
Yeah. So he has to go back to 3 and coach today to fix something else that's broken. I put in my notes, shit keeps breaking, and I really have an idea about what's going on at the restaurant, but we're going to get there. So Sloane's like, do you have an idea too?
I do.
Tell us.
The leggy blonde.
Okay.
Is breaking things to get him to come back.
We're going to see. Okay. So Sloane is like, okay, I'll meet you there at 4. I'm going to be going to coffee with Rose, Lark, and Anna. Rowan's like, cool, I'm going to go get a workout in, and then I'm going to go to the restaurant where Lobotomy David is waiting, even though no one is supposed to be working because it's like before brunch.
Yeah.
Remember, Lobotomy David, Rowan gave him a job at his restaurant. Okay. He fixes the issue with the stove and he's about to walk like into the kitchen after putting his tools away when he's met with a muzzle of a gun to his head. Gasp. An unrecognizable voice tells him he's going to have to send Sloane away or he will kill her in front of Rowan.
Is it Lobotomy David?
Also, the voice knows Sloane is the orb weaver and Rowan is the butcher of Boston. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but I think Lobotomy David is behind this shit.
Oh,
shit. Rowan is shut down when Sloane finally comes into the restaurant. She's like, the fuck? He's like, you have to go back to Raleigh. He's like laying down a trail of breadcrumbs. Like, I told you this on April 10th or 13th or whatever, which let's pause. April 10th or through 13th is the day that the semen was milked for the ice cream, in case you forgot.
I did.
So he's trying to lay down a trail of breadcrumbs for her to figure out without letting Lobotomy David know, because it is Lobotomy David. Without letting them know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Sloane is like, oh my fucking God. So she like runs 12 blocks back to the apartment and starts making plans to leave. Rowan said some really messed up shit about her. He was like, you're too fucking psycho for me. Like, even for me, like, you're too crazy. And she's like, oh my God. Like,
wait, did she catch on about the... Oh, okay.
Not at this point. she vows to flee in hotness and gets herself ready to go back to Raleigh. She she dumps all of his shampoo down the drain in the shower. She like does
She's raging.
She's like getting her makeup, like her winged eyeliner, like perfect precision.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm gonna be so fucking hot. He's gonna regret his decision. He'll rule the day.
Well, she loves revenge.
She does.
This is her thing.
Everything else is hard. Revenge is easy.
Yes.
Sorry, my mouth is just dry. So she's like on the phone with Lark, trying to figure out where she can stay when she gets back to Raleigh because she's rented her house out. She has tenants. She's like, I can't just go back to my house. Somebody lives there. Yeah. And while she's doing this, she's rehashing the breakup with Lark and explaining exactly what Rowan was trying to tell her. She's like, oh my fucking God, like something is wrong. I have to go. She basically hangs up on Lark, calls Lachlan, and she's like, I need you to tell me everything you know about David Miller. Meanwhile, back at 3 and Coach, you're not ready.
I'm not.
David is mandolining bits of Rowan's flesh from his arm. Not so accidental cannibalism o'clock, ladies and gents. It is literally so gross. I did not type any notes. He then drives a corkscrew into Rowan's arm and mixes Rowan's blood with the wine that he's going to drink.
So this...
I was
go ahead.
literally gagging.
Did we get a backstory on David?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was gagging. It was awful. Sloane kicks in the goddamn door and she's like, David's the South Bay slasher. She's got David's gun and she's like, got it trained on them. She's like refusing to look at David or at Rowan. Mm-hmm. So I think the gun is like trained on Rowan. She's like flirting with David and she's like, I'm gonna break Rowan's heart right back because fuck him, he deserves it.
This man.
So she's like going to give David his gun back, all cutesy and mindful and demurely,
as one does.
And then it's the okie doke because what she actually does is slices his wrists and his neck before stabbing him in the eye with her scalpel.
She's like, oh no, reverse.
Literally. She's like, hey, Lachlan, bestie, we're going to need to clean up at 3 and Coach. And we need Fionn too because Rowan's like bleeding out.
Bro is hurt.
She's like, hey, Rowan, you broke my fucking heart. And then she unties him. And he like literally moves so fast to grab a hold of her to hug her. And I was like, bro, how have you not passed out yet? Like,
yeah, all that blood.
It's the love.
The love kept him alive.
Love kept him alive. I was like, damn, dude. So he basically has to get a skin graft on his arm where David has mandolined his arm off. Sloane and Rowan like pick up and there's an appointment and I'm like, what's going on? What an appointment for what? Like Rowan's like, hey man, we're going to be late for our appointment. And Sloane is like in the middle of giving him a blowjob, complete with some butt stuff. Use your imagination. On their way to the appointment, they stop and see Lachlan and they're like, hey, we're going to be out of town. So can you help Lark move her stuff into her apartment in Boston when she moves here?
Meet cute.
Meet cute. He's like, what the fuck, man? I don't remember, like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't sign up for this shit. I didn't shut up for this shit.
I'm busy.
Sloane was like, but she doesn't have a lot of stuff. Just help her.
Yeah. It's my best friend.
So anyway, apparently they were running late for their appointment, but not too late because they show up in time. And what is happening is Rowan is getting a tattoo to cover up his skin graft.
Aww.
The tattoo is something that Sloane has designed for him. Circling back around, we are finally getting to the man that was pointed out at the gala.
Okay.
Okay.
I almost forgot about him, but
he is a doctor who likes killing his patients and is the one that Rowan offered Sloane up for like a good time right before they didn't kiss. This time they're like, hey, let's work together. Instead of making it a competition, let's work together. And you all are over here saying that romance is dead.
Let's hold hands and get this man.
Sloane does her usual eyeball plucking and Rowan's like, you're evolving. But one thing's remained the same. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, the left eye hole, it looks a little gougy. And she's like, what? No, it doesn't. Like, I'm perfect at this. I've perfected the art.
I've had tons of practice.
Like, gets a little closer and she's like, what the fuck is that? She plucks a wrapped item from the left eye hole and she's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, the trick with presents is you're supposed to open them.
Oh my God. Is he proposing?
So she unwraps the present, and there's a note that's like basically outlining their showdown on a napkin. He takes it back from her and writes, "Marry Sloane Sutherland and love her forever if she'll let you."
Aw.
Did you just propose on a napkin with a ring you stuffed in a guy's eye hole? Which was my exact reaction. Let's not do that.
Yeah, he did.
It like made me laugh out loud. She's like, "Oh my God, it's perfect," because why wouldn't she?
Yeah, she's deranged.
And then they go fuck each other on the hood of the doctor's Porsche, which is off camera. Okay, it's off screen. We don't get the deets.
You just hear it.
You just hear a little
I hear the shacks.
So their agreed upon target this year is supposed to be some guy called the Forest Phantom. When we pick up in the epilogue, it appears to be told from the Phantom's point of view.
Ooh, that's fun.
Is your mic on? You keep turning it off.
Yeah.
I hear you like flicking it.
I think you hear my fingers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, Kelly's thumbs are cracking, and I keep thinking that she's turning her mic off.
It's like my weird tick. I pop my thumbs.
Okay, no worries. I'll just keep that in mind.
Fun fact.
So the Phantom is in Boston watching the Kane brothers and Sloane, and he like very weirdly keeps quoting scripture. The closing line of this book is, "Rowan Kane took my brother, and I vow to take his." Which means that I assume, like, she's going to sit here and say that these are interconnected standalones.
Yeah.
But how are you going to end book one with this? Leather and Lark is clearly going to follow the Phantom as he takes Lachlan.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe she does like a brief synopsis of what has happened so you can read that one without reading all of this one.
Maybe. I'll let you know, but like it was interesting. Now, I turned the page, there's a bonus chapter. The bonus chapter is not something that I outlined here for brevity's sake. What I will tell you is this man dresses up in a polyester dragon onesie for roleplay. And he's literally wearing the non-breathable fabric as he does her. So like there's little sweat like flying off of him. And
he's
I'm like,
losing
God.
weight as he's doing this.
Oh, God. So I know that you're all dying to know what my rating is for this book.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Always.
I have a very convoluted rating system. We're actually going to film a reel where I explain my rating system because it is so convoluted.
We are.
I gave the characters a 9 out of 10 because I loved them so fucking much. Like, I even liked the side characters. Yeah. Like Lark and Lachlan and Fionn and Rose. Like, I really liked the side characters.
I've enjoyed this a lot.
It was so fun. I gave the atmosphere an 8. It was pretty tense. Writing overall was an 8 for me, too. It's very hard for you to get higher than an 8 unless you are Abby Jimenez or Riley Sager. I gave the plot an 8 also.
Wow.
I think that there were parts that were just a little too gory for me.
Yeah, I kind of am glad that you read this and not me because I don't do
like
great
especially the part where he was getting his arm mandolined. I was like, "Ugh!"
Yeah, because you just picture it.
Yeah. Like she very vividly described it. I gave intrigue an 8, logic a 9, and enjoyment an 8 also, which brought the total score to 58 out of 70, which averages 8.28. And based on my own personal scale, I gave this book 4.25 stars.
Wow.
Pretty high,
right?
It's
pretty high.
Especially considering this is more of a darker romance. It is a dark comedy romance.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
I really liked it. I really think that the plot of serial killers who kill serial killers falling in love with each other was something unique and cool, and I really enjoyed it. And I will definitely read the second book. And so if you want to read some reviews, please feel free to take it away.
I actually pulled up the content warning.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I can do that first.
Okay. Yes. We'll do the content warnings.
Somebody does write, this is the book with the craziest list, so hold on tight. Cracks knuckles. Yes, this is really the list. Yes, it all does happen. So that's fun.
Love that.
Eyeballs and eye sockets. Amateur surgery. Skin ornaments. Chainsaws, axes, knives, scalpels. A lot of sharp objects.
Mm-hmm.
Accidental cannibalism.
Yeah.
And then not so accidental cannibalism.
Okay, so go ahead.
Questionable use of a mummified corpse. excited we're reading this after the fact, so maybe we shouldn't edit it back in.
Okay, we're not, yeah.
This is kind of funny to be like, oh, okay, I see that.
Yep.
Ill-advised use of kitchen implements. I'm sorry about the cookies and cream ice cream. Parentheses, I'm really not.
She's not.
Detailed sex scenes, which include but are not limited to cock warming, rough sex, praise kink, anal, adult toys, choking, spitting, dom/sub, and genital piercings. References to parental neglect and child abuse. Parental loss, not depicted. One parent is murdered, one parent passed in childbirth. References to child sexual assault, not in detail.
So again, Lark was definitely sexually abused by the teacher that Sloane ends up having as her first victim.
Aww. It's a book about serial killers, so there's some generally messed up murder and chaos.
Yeah. It was so fun though. It was really fun. Like really fun.
It does sound fun.
So fun. Anyway, you got some reviews?
I have some 1-star reviews that I will be reading first.
1 stars are always fun.
All right, so this first review comes from Kat. It took far longer than I'd like to admit to realize that this book was going nowhere near my favorites list. Parentheses, a fact I'll credit solely to the wonderful audio performance from Joe Arden and Lucy Rivers. End parentheses. A shock, as I'm sure you can imagine, since it's literally about serial killers who play a murder game, all caps, together and fall in love along the way. But it finally hit me around the 3/4 mark that I'd rather get my eyeballs plucked, nay, gouged out, than continue to be subjected to Butcher and Blackbird's unconvincing chemistry, shallow characters, and disjointed timeline. Dissatisfying as a romance and horror novel alike, ripped my hopes and dreams of ever finding a good crossover between the two genres. Calm down,
Do I
Kat.
think that it was a horror novel? No, not at all. But that's my only critique.
Yeah.
Go off, Kat.
All right.
We love your opinion, even if it's not our own.
That's right. I actually may read this one on my own.
Oh my gosh, you should.
I kind of want
Yeah,
to.
you
Just to
should.
get to the humor.
Yeah.
Amara says, absolutely horrendous book. And then her keywords are disappointment and unpublished.
Oh.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, that's, she tagged it that.
Ah.
So those must be her shelves. She shelved it under disappointment and unpublished.
Okay, Venus. Is everyone being held at gunpoint to act like this book is good? WTF.
No, Venus, unless you are picturing Kelly holding the gun to my head and being like, read it.
Read this, bitch.
Read it.
Maddie, thanks. I hate it.
Thanks, Maddie.
Whoever compared this to the Mindfuck series needs some jail time, which I did just add to my TBR.
Me too.
Like 2 days ago.
Should we read that together?
That could be December's book club.
Oh yeah, you get a pick, right? Is it your turn? Or for me and you?
For me and you.
Oh,
The
for
smut
the
swap.
smut swap.
Smut
Yes.
swap,
Okay.
not murder robe.
December. We're already picking it. Mindfuck. Okay.
I gotta really
buckle down, Kelly.
buckle down.
You need to buckle down.
I gotta read more at work.
Do you want to come over and lay on my couch with me on a weekend one time?
I would love
And
to
we can
rot
we can couch rot and read
at your house and get green basil. I'm in.
Slap my ass and count me in. I have a 5-star review when it's time.
You can
Interject with a 5-star?
this one is one that I could picture you writing.
Okay.
It's a 1-star. Sorry, Erica. I hated it. Respectfully.
Who the fuck is Erica?
Is that the author?
No, her name's Bryn.
Oh. Who's Erica?
Maybe
Stan?
Kristen, is Erica your friend who recommended this book to you? Because I would definitely write a review like that, but it'd be like, sorry, Elizabeth, I hated it, respectfully.
It could have been.
So actually, the review that I want to read is from an author that I follow, Trisha Levenseller. She wrote Daughter of the Pirate King, Daughter of the Siren Queen,
Okay.
which I recommend Macy or Claire read because they're young adult novels.
Okay.
So
Macy is big into reading, so we'll get her.
So Trisha says, this was so gross and amazing and everything I never knew I needed. And she gave it 5 stars.
Aw.
Trisha, girl, you're so real for that.
Or Sydney wrote 5 stars. I love these two psychopaths.
Same.
Crying face, crying face, crying face.
I also wept. Not really.
I may actually listen to the audiobook. So Susie says, I am here to share with you my recommendation for the riveting audiobook, Butcher and Blackbird. I was immediately captivated by this book because of the author's attention to detail. Weaver's words perfectly craft a world of sights, sounds, and smells of 19th century London in your imagination. What?
What? Okay. So pause. I think that I don't think that that's right.
Maybe they meant Boston. The atmosphere is impressively heavy, packed with tension and intrigue. Weaver has created a character with resilience and tenacity, and I found myself cheering her on the whole time.
Yeah, like I literally rooted for Sloane the whole time. She pretty much never got on my nerves. I've heard that the audiobook narration, the man author for Rowan's point of view, does have an Irish accent.
Ooh.
So I think that you might like it.
They do talk about that.
Yeah.
Fortunate enough to listen, although I don't trust your review already. But the person who narrates does a great job giving depth and emotion to each character in the story.
Sydney Brooks. She's on Instagram.
Ooh.
She's also on TikTok. She recommends a lot of thrillers. So, of course, I follow her because that's my second biggest genre.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the one who said, I love these two psychopaths, that was Sydney. I follow her. Let me follow her right here.
Christina leaves a long review for her 5-star, but it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith plus Dexter with a little Silence of the Lambs thrown in for extra seasoning.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good breakdown.
I agree with that. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so I want to read some other quotes that I missed because it didn't serve my narrative. I didn't gouge them out, Butcher. I plucked them delicately, like a lady. I would kill for you, and I have. I would do it again every damn day. I'd turn myself inside out for you. I would die for you. I don't just like you, Sloane, and you fucking know it.
Oh, wow.
What, dude?
Get her.
Boobs plus murder don't equal a relationship, Lark. That math ain't mathin'. Maybe I was right. We're not normal people. We are monsters. But if we're monsters, we'll thrive in the dark together. There's art in our scars. There's wonder in the way we can heal. Because I like you, Rowan cackles an incredulous laugh. Like you? Seriously? Christ, Sloane, you're fucking brilliant, but also the most willfully oblivious person I've ever met. Do you really think I just like you when I framed a drawing you left for me on a scrap of paper you tore from a notebook? The one I hung in the kitchen so I can look at it every day and think of you? Do you think I just like you when I tattoo it on my skin? I play this fucking game every year and tear my heart out watching you walk away only to do it all over again, and I like you? You think I just like you when I fuck you like this? Yeah.
What was the tattoo of?
So he got the raven that she drew and left on the table the first time she was at 3 and Coach.
Okay.
He got that tattooed. I think
over
on
his skin graft?
I think here. And then the skin graft one was something intricate, for both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You might be a psycho, but you're my psycho, and I'm yours. Got it?
Oh, that's how I feel about Adam.
Pick a
Adam,
safe word.
you're
Do
listening.
it now. I swallow. Hard. Chainsaw. He huffs out a laugh. A burst of warmth against my core. How fitting, love.
My apex.
How fitting, love. Now be a good girl and find something to grab onto, he says, then passes one slow, long lick over my center because I'm about to destroy you.
I love how you're saying it through breaded teeth.
Oh, God. I just want to be tossed around a bit. Manhandled, you know? Call me a dirty little slut and I'm all for it.
That's right.
That's right, girl. But that's all that I have for Butcher and Blackbird.
I liked it.
It's 4.06 on Goodreads right now. It's super, 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 super popular, obviously.
That's fun.
It has almost 500,000 ratings. Just kidding. 325,000. Almost 326,000. It's a really fun book. Is it maybe a little overhyped? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll give you that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. With that being said, Kelly has the next episode. We will see you soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out right now what I'm going to read. I have quite a few books lined up, but I have to pick one. One
cool.
lucky winner.
It's cool. One lucky winner. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the video or whatever.
Yeah, we'll post all of our
All the
All the
links are
links.
always in the description. Follow us everywhere. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you next
All
time.
right, bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.
Goodbye.